Hi everyone, welcome to Active Self-Protection Extra on today's edition of John's Safe Queens. You know, I've got a series here showcasing the guns I never shoot or the guns that you don't see me shoot on camera. And this is a Gen 4 Glock 17. And somebody's gonna be like, John, I thought you were an HK guy. I am, but I just literally bought this gun back yesterday. And I wanna explain to you why I just bought this gun and why it's important to me. Download the ASP Unlimited app for all the content you love from Active Self-Protection and more with no interference from YouTube. No ads, no age gates, exclusive videos, seminars, classes, and more on iOS, Android, Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, and Android TV. Hit the link in the description or download ASP Unlimited from your app store today. So this gun is not as I owned it the first time, but you heard that I bought it back. You might have caught that. And it's important to me because of its history to me. Although it did not have the fiber optic front sight, it did not have the Talon grips on it, and it did not have the grip force adapter on it when I owned it. This Glock 17 though is an important little gun. Oh, it didn't have the magwell on it either. And I want to explain to you why I think this gun was so important to me, because it's actually an important part of my firearms journey as a firearms carrier and handgun user. And it was so important that the friend I sold it to, I sold this gun to him 10 years ago, maybe, something like that. Yeah, probably 10 years ago. And he's like, hey, I'm selling that gun. Do you know anybody, you know, the gun that I bought from you, I'm going to end up selling that sucker. Do you know anybody who wants one? And I was like, yes, me, because I'm going to keep this gun forever and ever now, even though I haven't carried a Glock since 2016, I think. I switched to the VP9. And so almost 10 years now. And I'm not gonna carry this one. I probably won't use it much. In fact, he didn't even give it to me with any magazines. And I think I might have a Glock magazine laying around somewhere, but otherwise I would have to buy a couple in order to use it. But it's just gonna sit in my safe anyways. Why is this gun important to me? Well, this is the gun that got me away from the 1911. So a little bit of my firearms journey. The very first carry gun that I ever carried, I started carrying in 2006. But went down to the gun store when I started carrying and I bought the wrong gun. It was a Springfield XD40 was the first gun that I ever carried. Terrible gun, but whatever. I didn't know any better. And I put it in a wrong holster and carried it like a lucky rabbit's foot for a while. And then after a while, I traded that for an XD9 subcompact that I carried with the extended magazine, which is dumb because it's no more concealable than the full-size gun then. And anyways, and then when I wanted to upgrade from there, then finally I had started carrying, and my pop, who is, I call him Pop, he's not related to me by blood, but we kind of adopted him. And his wife too, Vietnam vet, and Pop he was in the 3rd Recon Battalion in Vietnam, and no kidding, I know people like, you know, everybody claims to be, no, he's actually in books, and you've seen him there, and he's got chest salad and all that stuff, been there, done that. And his name's Norm McMahon, and he's a little bitty guy, he's like all of 5'2", and they called him Mac, and he's just a character's character. He says, you know, John, there's only one pistol in the Marine Corps manual, and that's 19 by God 11. And that's a pretty good impression of Pop. He wears a big cowboy hat, even though he's a little guy. And there's only one pistol in the Marine Corps manual. It's 1911, like John Moses Browning intended. So Pop, there might have been only one pistol in the Marine Corps manual in 1969 when you enlisted in the Corps, but probably a few more than that now, or a little different guns. I don't, you know, I think it's different now. But at the time, it was very convincing to me. I started carrying in 1911 because that's what Pop expected of me, and I learned a lot about firearms from him when I first started. And so I carried a 1911 for a number of years. And then this gun came into my life, and I wasn't expecting this gun, and I didn't necessarily want this gun. But here's the reality of things. For as long as I've owned firearms, I live in Arizona, and we respect private property owners' rights, including the right to transfer property to another person without government interference. So private party transfers in Arizona, perfectly legal, don't need to involve an FFL of any kind. As long, you know, again, you can't sell a gun to a prohibited possessor. You can't sell a gun to somebody who intends to use it in a crime. But I can sell, if I have reasonable assumption or reasonable belief that you're not a prohibited possessor, I can sell you a gun directly, and that's that. I don't need a bill of sale. I don't need any of that stuff. So I say all that to say a friend of a friend owned this Glock 17 and was really going through some tough times mentally, really going through some difficult mental health crises and needed to get it out of their house. And so I was like, hey, you can just leave it in my safe if you want. And he was like, no, I just want to sell it. I want to get rid of it because this is going to be a while. And so I just want to be rid of it. And so I bought it from him. And about that time, and this is probably, golly, this had to be maybe 2012, something like that, maybe 2011. So the Gen 4 was relatively new. Gen 4 started in 2010, I believe. And so we had a cop who went to our church who ran the PD range in our town. And he was like, over Christmas, it's going to be real quiet. Why don't you and some of the guys come out to the range when it's real quiet and we'll do some training? Sure, why not? That sounds like a great idea. So we went out there and to his PD range and we started shooting. And I brought this gun just for giggles because I was always like, oh, I don't like the Glock grip angle and I don't like the tactical Tupperware because I drank the Kool-Aid about the 1911 that my pop had taught me. And then again, without the grip force adapter, without the Talon grips on it, just a stock Glock 17, I just decided to run this gun a little bit in some of the drills that we were running. And all of a sudden, once this cop, who was a really good shooter as a police officer, fixed a couple things with my grip. He basically changed me to a thumbs forward grip where I was using a thumbs up grip and more of a kind of a 1911 old school Weaver stance because that's what Pop taught me. So he changed me over and said, John, just try this a little bit, try more of a thumbs forward grip and see how that works for you and kind of square up on your target a little bit. And the second I did that, well, not the second, it took me a few magazines. It took me probably, 45 minutes of work to then realize, wow, I'm actually able to really control this gun well and the muzzle's not rising very much. And golly, I actually really like this. And I was like, oh no, did I just become a Glock guy? Holy crap. Oh my God. And because that was like this major cognitive dissonance in my mind because I was a 1911 guy, as Jesus and John Moses Browning intended. But this gun, taking it to the range for a day, getting some good instruction and learning how to use it well, changed my mind on that. But this was a little big for me to carry. This is a full-size gun. Now, I could carry a gun this size. I carry a full-size gun today, but this was at the time a little big for me to carry. I was still carrying strong side at the time because, again, that's part of that, maturing thing. I think I started carrying appendix in 2016. So this is long before that, a few years before that. And the grip stuck out too far. So I bought a Glock 19, a little shorter grip, and started carrying that. And this sat in the safe and I used it for training, or I had some open carry holsters for when we'd go to the range or stuff like that, or be out in the woods. And so I would carry this gun when I was doing that kind of thing, and only when I was doing that kind of thing. And then as I transitioned away and transitioned to HKs, they sat in the safe for a while. And then my friend was like, hey man, I'm looking for a Glock. Anybody selling one? I was like, I think I got a Glock 17 in the safe if you want to buy it. Because I don't need it anymore. I'm carrying HKs now. And so they're just kind of unnecessary and I could use the money. So I sold this to my friend and he has kept it, used it, taking good care of it. Again, he put a grip force adapter and some Talon grips on it and actually replaced the sights with these, I think these are Ameriglow, and has the high vis front sight on it, and that's cool. They work really well, blacked out rear sight on it now too. So that's pretty cool. I think the only thing this guy probably needs to be a real decent carry gun is probably a striker control device would be a great idea. A gadget would really help that, but it's just going to be a safe queen. So I bought it back from him and I bought it yesterday, right? So when I tell you, well, what's it worth and would I sell it? No, I'm never going to sell this gun again. I literally paid him $500 for it yesterday. And the reason I paid him $500 for it yesterday is in 2016, I think it was when he bought it from me, or 2017, he paid me $500 for it. And so I was like, I'll give you back for it what you gave me for it. And he was like, done. That's a good deal right there. Because he has holsters and accessories and stuff that he's going to sell to other people because I don't want them. Anyway, there's a Glock 17. So I do own a Glock again. It's the only Glock that's in my safe. I got nothing against Glocks. I carried one for a number of years. I carried that Glock 19 for, I think, probably about 4 years. And this one has some special kind of, thoughtfulness and a special place in my safe because it helped me to get into the tactical Tupperware world. And for that, I am always grateful to the Glock pattern of pistol. well, there it is, another gun in my safe, and I hope you guys enjoyed the discussion.